threw an absolute dot to Jerry Jeudy. And what did this dude do? Take a guess. Oh, you guessed it. Vomit all over himself, dropping the ball. I don't know if you're doing this stuff on purpose. I don't know what's going on. But you're a professional, bro. It's time you start acting like it. Take a look at this here, man. This dude is insane. Take a look at this here. Shedeur Sanders going to drop back and deliver an absolute dime to Jerry Jeudy. Deep ball, spiral on it. Right there in the breadbasket, and this dude drops it. Right there in the breadbasket, and this dude drops it, man. Like, come on, bro. This dude can't be serious. Come on. It's in your hands. You're supposed to be a #1 wide receiver. You can't catch a cold, bro. You got hands like a snake. It's ridiculous watching Jerry Jeudy go out here and drop all these passes over and over and over. It looked like the same thing from last season. This dude just don't get it. He just don't get it. He may never get it. He might not figure it out until it's too damn late. But all I know is when Shedeur Sanders get in the game, I don't want Jerry Jeudy in. Let him run with Deshaun Watson. Let him run with Deshaun Watson. And let Jerry Jeudy, let Shedeur Sanders have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston and Isaiah Bond. I don't want nothing to do with no damn Jerry.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Shedeur Sanders dropped back, scanned the secondary, and uncorked a picture-perfect deep ball with pinpoint precision that most starting quarterbacks in this league can only dream of delivering. The football spiraled through the air, traveling over 40 yards before landing directly in the hands of his #1 wide receiver. What happened next did not just ruin a routine highlight reel. It exposed a massive problem brewing inside the Cleveland Browns locker room. Jerry Jeudy let the ball bounce right off his chest and hit the grass, completely blowing what should have been an effortless touchdown strike. But that dropped pass is only the tip of the iceberg. What is truly alarming is how moments like this threaten to derail Shedeur Sanders during the most critical evaluation window of his entire career. Before we expose the hidden layers behind this locker room dynamic and what the coaching staff is planning behind closed doors, drop a comment right now. Type the single word hands if you believe Jerry Jeudy needs to be pulled from the starting lineup, or leave a fire emoji if you believe Shedeur is the undisputed future of this franchise. Take a hard look at what went down on that practice field, because it speaks volumes about the current environment in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders executed his
simplest possible explanation for this.
Sure, I'd like to hear it.
It's just that. It is they don't want to start Deshaun at home a week from now, and that starting him on the road is going to be less of a distraction for him because there will be a mixed reaction if Deshaun were to start his first game in 2 years almost at home.
It might be that. It might also just be the idea that they started Deshaun with the ones to begin with because of the veteran part of this equation, and they're just staying true to that. Neither one has separated themselves in any sort of way, and so this is the easy way to decide it. Deshaun started the practices off as the one out of the gate, and he'll just continue with the preseason games, and then we go from there.
If I'm a Shedeur fan, I like this because Shedeur not only gets the start against the Bills, he also gets the joint practice against the Bills as well.
That could be huge. Yeah, if that's how that goes. I will be interested to see. You say that now as if that's he hasn't said that. Yeah, I know. I'd be interested to see what happens if they end up making Deshaun the starter in the joint practices and then Shedeur's the starter for the actual preseason game.
Just be very weak.
Well, there's some people that would argue then that Shedeur would get way less of a chance if that's the outcome because the joint practices and the only joint practice they have is that Thursday against the Bills. If that's all Shedeur gets, or that's all that we're talking about, and Deshaun gets that instead of Shedeur, that's a real advantage to Deshaun. People really weigh.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
His drop back with clean footwork, read the defensive coverage without hesitation, and delivered an absolute dime down the sideline. This was not a contested jump ball in double coverage, an awkward throw behind the receiver, or a desperation heave off his back foot. It was an effortless, catchable deep ball placed exactly where only the receiver could make a play on it. For an established professional who was brought in to serve as the premier playmaker on this offense, letting that ball hit the turf is completely inexcusable. What makes this situation sting even more is the timing. Just days prior to this blunder, Jerry Jeudy decided to hop on social media and run his mouth on TikTok about his preferred choice at quarterback, publicly stirring up debate instead of locking in on his craft. When an athlete chooses to broadcast private locker room dynamics to the world and then follows it up by dropping routine passes during live drills, it raises serious red flags about accountability and focus. This is not just a single bad rep in the middle of summer camp. It points toward an ongoing pattern of inconsistency that has followed him throughout his career. When you carry the title and paycheck of a top wideout, you are expected to make routine catches without second thought. If you appreciate raw, unapologetic film breakdowns that cut through mainstream media narratives to give you the honest reality of what happens on the field, make sure you take a second to hit that subscribe button for Gridiron Ground. True football minds join our community because we look past the surface noise and show you the exact details that dictate winning football. The undeniable reality right now is that Shedeur Sanders is entering the most pivotal stretch of his development, and he cannot afford to have his progress sabotaged by self-inflicted mistakes from veterans who should know better. When your veteran targets fail to execute basic fundamentals, it sends the wrong message to the entire offensive unit. The margin for error at the professional level is non-existent, especially when an offense is attempting to establish its identity before the regular season begins. Every missed opportunity on a deep shot diminishes the efficiency of the offensive game plan and creates artificial friction between the quarterback and his pass catchers. Shedeur did everything required of an elite passer on that play, from his pocket presence to his ball placement, yet the outcome on the stat sheet looked like an empty incompletion. That kind of disconnect between quarterback execution and wide receiver finishing can completely derail the momentum of an entire training camp offense. If a young quarterback begins to second-guess whether his receivers will secure clean throws, it naturally affects his release timing and confidence on intermediate and deep routes. Passing offenses rely heavily on trust, anticipation, and repetition. When that trust is broken because a receiver is preoccupied with social media narratives rather than securing the football, the entire structural integrity of the passing attack begins to fracture. The coaching staff has to take a stand and hold every player accountable regardless of their veteran status or salary figures. If drops continue to happen during key team periods, it sends a ripple effect across the entire depth chart, encouraging bad habits while punishing the quarterback who is executing his assignments correctly. But that drop on the sideline was only the beginning of a much deeper issue inside the facility. The true danger of dropped passes at this level goes far deeper than a wasted practice snap or a ruined highlight. When NFL coaching staffs, scouts, and front office executives evaluate quarterback play, they look at film through an analytical microscope. They examine completion percentage, adjusted yards per attempt, drive efficiency, and third down conversions. In an ideal world, evaluators would isolate the quarterback throw from the receiver error every single time, but human nature and analytical data do not always tell the whole story. When a wideout drops an accurate throw, the momentum of the entire drive stalls. The offense is suddenly forced into unfavorable down and distance scenarios, which restricts the play sheet and limits what a young passer can showcase on subsequent downs. Reports claim that behind closed doors, certain offensive assistants are growing tired of having clean progressions ruined by concentration drops. For a young player like Shedeur, every single practice repetition is an audition for the starting role. He is not just working on timing. He is fighting to prove to his head coach that the offense can run through him efficiently on Sundays. When unforced errors happen repeatedly, They create unnecessary doubt in the minds of casual onlookers who glance only at the box score rather than the actual film. The margin for error in an NFL quarterback competition is razor thin, and having your top receiver fumble away opportunities actively harms the perception of your command over the huddle. Shedeur needs pristine, unmistakable execution, so the decision-makers have undisputed proof of his readiness. When the supporting cast fails to hold up its end of the bargain, it forces the young signal caller to play under artificial handicaps that veteran competitors simply do not have to deal with. A young quarterback needs rhythm, and rhythm is built on completions that allow the offense to stay ahead of the chains. When routine completions are wiped out by lack of focus, the entire structure of the drive collapses, forcing the quarterback into obvious passing situations where defenses can pin their ears back and bring exotic blitzes. This skews the evaluation even further, creating pressure scenarios that could have been completely avoided with basic execution. If the coaching staff only measures drive success without adjusting for receiver error, the true potential of the passer remains hidden behind misleading metrics.
Jerry Jeudy, and what did
That
this
is why
dude do?
clean execution from every single receiver on the field
vomit all
is an
over himself,
absolute necessity
dropping the
during
ball.
an open competition.
I don't know if you're doing this stuff
Advanced
on purpose.
analytics
I don't know
teams
what's
track
going
expected points
But
added per
you're
play,
a professional,
and
bro.
nothing tanks
It's time
that
you start
metric
acting
faster
like
than an
Take a look at
incomplete
this here,
deep shot
man.
that should have
This dude is
generated
insane.
40 yards of field position.
Take a look at this here.
When coaches
Shedeur
sit
Sanders
in
going to
film
drop back and
review
deliver an
sessions late at
absolute
night,
dime.
they are
to Jerry
grading
Jeudy.
efficiency on a
Deep ball,
play-by-play basis.
spiral on it.
If an
Right there in the
offense
bread
stalls
basket, and this dude
repeatedly during
drops it.
team scrimmage
Right there in the
periods,
bread basket,
it
and this
creates
dude
a subconscious
drops it, man.
perception that the unit
Like,
is
come
not
on,
moving
bro. This dude
smoothly,
can't be serious.
even when the quarterback is distributing the ball with elite precision.
Come on.
That
It's
subtle
in your
distortion
hands.
can
You're supposed to be a
influence
number
game
one
planning,
wide receiver.
rotation
You can't
decisions,
catch a cold,
and
bro.
ultimately the
You got
final
hands
depth
like a
chart
snake. It's
designation.
ridiculous.
Shedeur
Watching
Sanders
Jerry
is
Jeudy
being
go out here and
evaluated
drop all
under an
these passes
extraordinary
over and
level of
over and over.
scrutiny,
It looked
where
like the
every
same
single
thing from
pass
last
attempt is
season.
dissected
This
by both the
dude
media
just
and team
don't
evaluators.
get it. He just don't
In that
get
kind
it.
of
He may
environment,
never get
having
it.
your
He might
primary
not
target
figure it out
drop
until it's too
catchable
damn
passes
late. But all
creates
I
an
know is
unfair narrative
with
hurdle
Shedeur
that the
Sanders
young
getting the game, I
quarterback
don't want
must
Jerry
continually
Jeudy.
overcome.
Let him run with
But while the
Deshaun
mistakes
Watson.
on the practice grass
Let him run with
continue to
Deshaun
pile
Watson.
up, a much
and let Jerry
bigger
Jeudy,
scheduling decision was quietly finalized
let
behind the scenes.
Shedeur Sanders have Casey
While the practice
Concepcion
field drama
and
continues
Denzel
to
Boston
unfold,
and Isaiah Bond.
the
I don't
coaching
want
staff made
nothing
a
to do
major
with
announcement
no damn
regarding how
Jerry.
preseason playing time will be distributed across the roster. Deshaun Watson is slated to start the preseason opener on the road against the Chicago Bears, while Shedeur Sanders has been handed the start for the following week against the Buffalo Bills. On the surface, critics immediately took to social media arguing that the organization is favoring Watson by giving him the initial nod, assuming the depth chart is already set in stone. However, when you look beneath the surface, there is a much more strategic calculation at play. Deshaun Watson has spent nearly 2 years away from live game action, and starting him in front of a volatile home crowd could have triggered an immediate public relations disaster if things went sideways early. Placing him in a road environment in Chicago gives him a chance to shake off significant rust away from the intense scrutiny of home fans who are running out of patience.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Meanwhile, giving Shedeur the start against Buffalo proves that the organization wants to see him perform under true pressure against an elite, well-coached AFC contender. If you want to stay ahead of every major roster shift, depth chart battle, and front office leak before it hits mainstream sports talk, lock in with Gridiron Ground right now by hitting subscribe. Smart fans rely on this channel because we break down front office psychology and game tape before the rest of the sports world even realizes what is happening. The stage being set for Shedeur against the Bills is not a consolation prize. It is an orchestrated showcase designed to test whether he can handle the full weight of an NFL offense when the lights shine the brightest. The Browns organization understands that throwing Watson into the pressure cooker of a home stadium right away could backfire spectacularly if his mechanics are sloppy or if the offense stalls out on consecutive drives. By putting him on the road against Chicago, they are giving him a low-stakes environment to test his physical conditioning and timing. In contrast, Shedeur gets the platform that truly matters. He gets to go up against a premier defense with high expectations, giving the front office a realistic measurement of his ability to lead the team against playoff-caliber competition. This is precisely the kind of challenge an ambitious young quarterback should want on his resume before the regular season begins. Facing an aggressive opponent like Buffalo forces a passer to make rapid pre-snap reads, identify disguised safety coverages, and operate behind an offensive line facing genuine defensive stunts. The front office knows that if Shedeur can move the chains consistently against the Bills, there will be no lingering questions about his ability to direct a professional offense against top-tier competition. It is a high-reward scenario that places his development directly in the national spotlight. The coaching staff is intentionally testing his poise, his leadership, and his situational awareness in a game environment that mirrors regular season intensity far more than a typical preseason opener ever could. Yet the preseason game itself is only half of the equation facing Shedeur in the coming days. The most overlooked element of the upcoming schedule is not just the exhibition game against Buffalo, but the high-intensity joint practice sessions leading up to kickoff. Joint practices are entirely different beasts compared to routine intra-squad scrimmages. During typical training camp practices, defenders are familiar with the offensive cadence, the route concepts, and the tendencies of their own teammates. Defensive coordinators run vanilla schemes, pass rushers hold up before reaching the quarterback, and everything operates inside a controlled environment. Joint practices throw all of that comfort out the window. When the Buffalo Bills defense steps onto the field, they will be playing at game speed with complex blitz packages, physical bump and run coverage, and the raw intensity of players fighting for their own roster spots. Insiders around the league consistently emphasize that general managers and head coaches place vastly more weight on joint practice tape than they do on standard preseason quarters. In these combined sessions, quarterbacks are forced to process unscripted coverages in real time against opponents who are actively trying to disrupt every timing route. Shedeur Sanders will have the opportunity to stand in the pocket against one of the top defensive units in pro football and prove his processing speed, pocket poise, and decision-making under duress. If he performs at a high level against the Bills' secondary during joint practices and follows it up with a commanding performance on game day, the conversation surrounding this quarterback competition will shift overnight. Joint practices eliminate the artificial nature of training camp because there is genuine hostility and unpredictability on every single snap. Defensive backs will disguise their coverages until the final second of the play clock, while defensive linemen will test the protection schemes with full-speed twists and stunts. A quarterback cannot rely on muscle memory or familiarity against an opposing team. He has to rely strictly on his eyes, his footwork, and his pre-snap processing. This is where real starting quarterbacks separate themselves from training camp heroes. If Shedeur steps onto that field and delivers accurate throws while managing the offense under intense pressure, he will give the coaching staff undeniable proof that he is ready for live NFL regular season action. NFL personnel evaluators recognize that live exhibition games often feature simplified defensive schemes because coaches do not want to reveal regular season tactics on broadcast television. In contrast, joint practices feature situational red zone drills, 2-minute drills, and third down blitz periods where defensive coordinators unleash their most complex coverages and pressures. This creates an authentic simulation of what a quarterback will experience on any given Sunday afternoon. For a young passer striving to claim the starting job, thriving in those high-leverage practice snaps against unfamiliar opponents provides the strongest possible case to the front office. If Shedeur commands the huddle with authority and avoids mental mistakes during these intense sessions, he will completely remove any doubt regarding his readiness. However, even an exceptional performance in practice might not be enough if outdated organizational habits get in the way. Despite Shedeur demonstrating remarkable poise throughout camp, a deeply flawed philosophical concept continues to echo through the local media: the idea of the veteran default. Several beat reporters and commentators have openly suggested that if the competition remains neck-and-neck through late August, the starting job must automatically be awarded to Deshaun Watson simply because of his years in the league. This mindset represents institutional self-preservation rather than smart football management. When front offices default to the veteran in a tiebreaker, they are often doing so to shield themselves from immediate public criticism. If a highly paid veteran starts and struggles, the organization can deflect blame by claiming they trusted established experience. But if they take a calculated risk on a talented rookie and encounter early growing pains, the front office faces immense pressure from ownership and fans alike.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Settling for the safe option is precisely how franchises remain stuck in mediocrity for decades. A competition should be decided entirely by performance, arm talent, leadership, and offensive rhythm, not by birth dates or past contract numbers. Shedeur Sanders was drafted to be the definitive long-term answer at the position, not an insurance policy sitting on the bench waiting for disaster to strike. If the organization truly desires to build a sustainable contender, they must possess the courage to reward the player who gives them the highest offensive ceiling right now, rather than clinging to a veteran safety net out of fear. Relying on veteran seniority is an antiquated philosophy that ignores modern NFL trends, where young passers routinely step in and elevate franchises immediately when given proper coaching and surrounding talent. Sticking with a veteran simply because of past accomplishments creates a culture of complacency where starting spots are inherited rather than earned through daily performance. When players in the locker room see a younger, hungrier quarterback outplaying a veteran during drills, handing the starting role to the veteran damages the credibility of the entire coaching staff. The locker room always knows who gives the team the best chance to win on Sunday afternoons, and trying to force a veteran into the lineup against the evidence on tape can divide the team before week 1 even arrives. The front office must resist the temptation to protect their investments and instead focus purely on who operates the offense with the highest level of efficiency. Consider how modern championship contenders operate across the league. Winning organizations do not hesitate when they see elite traits in a young passer. They design the offensive scheme around their strengths, accelerate their development, and give them the full confidence of the coaching staff from day one. In contrast, teams trapped in endless rebuilding cycles constantly search for temporary veteran buffers to delay the inevitable transition. Treating Shedeur like a secondary contingency plan, who only gets his shot once the season is already in jeopardy, sets the young passer up for failure in the exact same way this franchise has mishandled past draft picks. A young quarterback should not be used to clean up a burning building in the middle of October. He should be given the keys from opening day with a customized game plan, first-team practice reps, and the trust of his play caller. That trust creates confidence, and confidence translates into decisive execution when the pocket breaks down. The veteran default is nothing more than an institutional excuse to avoid making a bold, transformative football decision. But to truly understand why this logic falls apart completely, you have to examine what the reports from camp are actually telling us about the daily performance of both players. Reports emerging from team personnel suggest that this quarterback battle has remained a dead heat since organized team activities began back in the spring. Stop and reflect on what that actually means for a moment. You have a rookie signal caller stepping into a complex NFL playbook, going up against a seasoned veteran who was once viewed as an elite talent, and matching him throw for throw, read for read, across months of rigorous competition. In any objective evaluation, an inexperienced rookie who plays an established veteran to a complete standstill has already won the broader developmental argument. The veteran has presumably reached his physical and mental peak, while the young passer is only scratching the surface of his immense potential. If Shedeur is already operating at an equal level despite having taken 0 regular season professional snaps, his developmental trajectory points toward rapid superstar growth once given live reps. Pushing the narrative that a dead heat favors the older player ignores the fundamental reality of player progression. Experience is only an asset if it translates into superior execution on the field. When that experience is burdened by nearly 2 years of inactivity, rust, and physical wear, its value diminishes rapidly. Shedeur brings arm strength, rapid processing, high-level mechanics, and an unshakable confidence that elevates the energy of the entire offense every time he commands the huddle. When an offense breaks the huddle with a dynamic young passer who can make every throw on the field, the tempo and morale of the entire unit changes instantly. The offensive line blocks with more urgency, the young receivers run their routes with crisper cuts, and the entire team feeds off the energy of a new era. A veteran quarterback carrying extensive baggage and physical wear often brings a sense of cautious hesitation to the field, playing to avoid mistakes rather than attacking the defense aggressively. Shedeur plays with an aggressive, calculated edge that forces opposing defensive coordinators to defend all 60 yards of the field on every snap. Matching Watson rep for rep during camp proves that his transition to the professional game is well ahead of schedule, and capping his growth by keeping him on the sideline serves no long-term purpose. Think about the fundamental physics and trajectory of player development during an intense training camp. An established veteran who has been in professional systems for nearly a decade is already operating at his maximum football processing capacity. What you see from him in July and August is essentially the finished product. A rookie, on the other hand, is absorbing dozens of new terminology concepts, defensive disguise variations, and timing adjustments with every single practice session. If that rookie is already matching the veteran on day 20 of camp, what will that comparison look like by week 6 of the regular season when the game slows down even further for him? The rookie will ascend exponentially, while the veteran will remain tied to his established baseline. Keeping an ascending talent on the bench in favor of a stagnant veteran actively restricts the ceiling of the entire football team. Football is a game of dynamic growth and momentum. When a young passer demonstrates the mental fortitude to stand toe-to-toe with a high-profile veteran without showing fear, the coaching staff must recognize that they have captured lightning in a bottle. Refusing to unleash that talent because of contract obligations or media comfort is a fundamental failure of football evaluation. But navigating this competition is about more than just on-field performance. It requires surviving the relentless noise surrounding the team. Navigating an NFL quarterback competition requires cutting through 3 distinct layers of outside noise that threaten to cloud the truth. The first layer is mainstream media framing, which entered the summer determined to paint Watson as the inevitable starter while treating Shedeur as an intriguing developmental project. That biased framing persisted despite camp, reports highlighting the rookie precision and poise. The second layer is organizational hesitation, as the coaching staff missed their initial target date to name a starter before summer break, allowing endless speculation to fill the void. The third and most frustrating layer of noise happens right.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Right on the field when veteran pass catchers fail to execute basic assignments. When Jerry Jeudy drops a beautifully thrown deep ball, it provides unwarranted ammunition to skeptics who judge plays based on outcomes rather than execution. The Browns coaching staff must take control of this situation by surrounding Shedeur with hungry, focused playmakers who are entirely dedicated to catching the football. Young talents like Isaiah Bond, Casey Conception, and Denzel Boston have demonstrated the focus, separation, and reliable hands necessary to elevate this passing attack. For those who want the pure, unfiltered truth about this franchise and refuse to accept sanitized team press releases, subscribe to Gridiron Ground right now. We deliver the authentic analysis that real football fans crave because we break down every single play with absolute honesty. Giving Shedeur targets who play with fire and reliability will eliminate artificial errors and allow his elite passing talent to shine without hindrance. When you strip away the social media commentary, the front office politics, and the endless talking head debates, football always comes down to execution and chemistry. A quarterback cannot build sustainable timing with receivers who are focused on outside distractions or social media engagement during the most critical weeks of preparation. Inserting young, determined wide receivers into the primary rotation gives Shedeur a group of pass catchers who share his hunger and urgency. These young targets fight for every contested catch, secure the football with two hands, and create consistent separation against tough coverage. When you pair an accurate, composed passer with wide receivers who take absolute pride in their craft, the entire offensive unit operates at an elite level. This is the exact environment the coaching staff must cultivate if they want an authentic, fair evaluation of their young quarterback. Look at the way modern NFL offenses thrive when young quarterbacks build an organic rapport with dynamic young targets. They spend extra hours after practice refining their timing on back-shoulder throws, working through scramble drill rules, and studying film together until their communication becomes second nature. Distracted veterans who are worried about their brand or social media impressions rarely put in that extra discretionary effort. They rely on their pedigree and expect the quarterback to cater to them. By pivoting the offensive personnel toward hungry, disciplined wideouts like Bond, Conception, and Boston, the coaching staff can create a unified offensive identity centered around precision and relentless work ethic. This removes the toxic element of entitlement from the wide receiver room and ensures that every pass Shedeur throws is contested with maximum effort. When a young quarterback knows his targets will lay out for loose balls and fight through contact, it frees him to throw with pure anticipation and zero hesitation. That psychological freedom is what allows great passers to dominate. All of these factors lead directly to the final timeline, currently facing the Cleveland organization. The entire franchise now stands on the brink of an August 23rd Judgment Day, the targeted timeline for naming the regular season starter. To navigate this defining moment correctly, the front office must follow a clear four-part roadmap. First, they must evaluate Shedeur performance during the Buffalo joint practice with immense scrutiny, recognizing that excelling against a premier opposing defense is the truest indicator of regular season readiness. Second, the offensive coaching staff must adjust the personnel groupings, removing distracted veterans who drop passes and surrounding Shedeur with locked-in receivers who consistently finish plays. Third, they must evaluate the preseason game against the Bills based on process, pocket presence, and decision-making rather than box score statistics that can be skewed by dropped passes or penalties. Finally, if the competition remains dead even when the final whistle blows, the Browns front office must abandon the outdated veteran default mentality once and for all. They cannot afford to make a decision based on organizational comfort or contract optics. They must hand the football to the player who represents the future of the franchise and gives this offense dynamic playmaking ability. Shedeur Sanders has stood tall in the face of intense scrutiny, matched every challenge thrown his way, and proved that he is fully prepared to lead this football team onto the field. The upcoming days will reveal whether the Browns' leadership has the vision to build a sustainable winner, or if they will retreat into familiar habits that have stalled progress in the past. Giving Shedeur the starting reins allows the offense to grow together, building continuity between a franchise quarterback and a young receiving core that can dominate the league for the next decade. If the front office commits to this four-step plan, they will eliminate uncertainty and establish a clear direction for every player inside that locker room. The team cannot afford to enter the regular season with lingering doubt or a divided quarterback room. Clear leadership and decisive action are required immediately. Each step of this four-part blueprint serves a specific strategic purpose designed to eliminate bias and isolate pure football performance. During the Buffalo joint practices, coaches must track release times against exotic blitz packages and grade how quickly Shedeur resets his feet when the first read is taken away. In the personnel reshuffle, offensive coordinators must establish clear consequences for concentration lapses, demonstrating to the entire roster that playing time is earned solely through reliable execution on the field. During the live exhibition game, evaluators must look past basic yards and touchdowns to examine pre-snap protections, sideline command, and poise under duress. When you combine those three objective evaluation checkpoints with a complete rejection of veteran privilege, the final decision becomes undeniably obvious. The organization has an extraordinary opportunity to break free from years of instability and establish a modern, explosive identity. Shedeur has proven through his daily preparation, his pinpoint accuracy, and his unflappable confidence that he is ready to shoulder the expectations of a starting NFL quarterback. The blueprint is clear, the evidence is overwhelming, and the front office must execute without hesitation. This quarterback competition is about far more than depth chart politics. It represents a defining crossroad that will shape the Cleveland Browns for the next decade. For years, this franchise has struggled with hesitation, repeatedly leaning on temporary veteran band-aids rather than boldly stepping into a new era. Shedeur Sanders has silenced the doubters, executed under relentless pressure, and demonstrated the undeniable poise of a legitimate franchise cornerstone throughout every single stage of camp. The pinpoint arm talent is real, the work ethic is evident on every snap, and the moment to act is right now. If the front office chooses courage over institutional comfort, they have a genuine opportunity to unlock an explosive, modern offense led by a young quarterback built for the biggest stage in sports. Defaulting to the past will only prolong mediocrity, while embracing the future gives this city the dynamic leadership it has waited years to witness. Shedeur has done his part by delivering strikes, handling adversity, and commanding the huddle. Now the front office must make the right call. The stage is set, the receipts are on tape, and the choice made in Cleveland will echo across the NFL for years to come.
Let's get back to that idea that you said that they're kind of in a dead heat here. If that were to continue through, I think it's August 23rd, that's kind of been a spot people have earmarked that makes sense to kind of name a starter. Who do you think the tie goes to?
I would probably say the tie goes to the veteran Deshaun Watson. I've said this, and I know that people have come after me for saying it, but organizationally, if you start with Deshaun, and I'm not trying to go negative here, but let's just say this plays out where it doesn't go well, then you can turn it over to Shedeur and just say, hey, the rest of the season is yours. Take us home. And then he plays as long as he stays healthy, and you really get a larger evaluation of him than just the 7 games that you had last year where he wasn't exactly set up for success. He was thrown into the fire.